owner-operator, is it even worth it? We're going to talk about that today on Trucking Talks Live. Glad to see you guys. It's Tuesday at 6 p.m. We're doing some things. I've got my motivation up. Rose is giving me a thumbs up through the door. Don't know what that's about, but thumbs back to you, babe. I love you. And we're going to do this thing. We'll be right back.
Paying too much for trucking insurance? What if you could save more by making one simple phone call and keep more profit? You could very well do just that with one simple call to Seabright Agency, 800-366-6466. Call now.
Now here's a question that all owner-operators and small fleet owners should consider. What happens when you access the unrivaled advantages that are available through the ES Advantage program? We asked Jeff and Charlie from Contractors Corner to share their thoughts on how they've been able to utilize the discounts and services that are a part of the ES Advantage.
Your business will make you money if you do well at that business. And ES Advantage in trucking, they do really well at providing those services. So the effect that ES has had on our personal trucking operations, not even talking about what we do on the consulting arena, I've been able to save thousands of dollars a year in fuel because of the relationship with them. I have a new accountant that I work with, trucker CFO, that I learned about from ES Advantage.
They're giving you that 10,000 yard kind of support from behind that creates a way for you to succeed, which is one of the things that we love, because anything you can do to help someone succeed is going to help them succeed. They make money by making sure you make money.
Now, if you're an owner-operator or small fleet owner and you would like to learn more about how you can drive savings to the bottom line of your business, the ES Advantage program has the discounts and services that deliver the kind of unrivaled advantages that are designed to help you improve your overall operation. Get connected with the ES Advantage today.
Because that was just fun to do to Jeff right there. You're welcome, sir.
So that message from Donna was for you, by the way.
I'm gonna ignore it. No, it can't be there. No, it's gone.
That's for you.
Look,
she even put the caution sign in there.
I treat every week as if Pete is watching. I do. Okay. I try.
You just forget yourself sometimes.
And
then it's reciprocal, because once you forget yourself, I get into it, and then I get in more trouble.
Oh, it's my. See, people, this is how it is. Jeff blames me for everything, and that's fair. I'll just take it. Whatever. How's everybody doing, man? Good to see you, dude.
Oh man. So, any guesses on who was first? I mean, it's not even a
shocker.
It's Craig. Craig, by the way, who is in the lead for the Rand McNally Clear Drive 220 headset right now.
Right.
With a buttload of engagement points in the Facebook group. Yeah, he's the man to beat right now, people. He's the man to beat. You have an opportunity in the next day or two, because I'm going to be putting up a mini course the next couple of days in that group for our subscribers to engage.
What?
See if you can't pull ahead of Craig, man.
Trucker Tim.
So yeah, I look forward to that. Tim was third.
Michael Fowler snuck in there. I had to run away to go lay down because I was being a big baby, and I had to, whatever. Let's see. Trucker Tim, Michael Fowler said that. Matt Nissen's in here. Funny, apparently he's been sitting in a dock since 10:30. He just got called to his dock. Or he's waiting for the dock. Waiting for a dock.
That's one of the things, Charlie, about doing expedited is I don't wait on docks. I showed up to a customer an hour and a half early today, and they're like, yeah, put it in dock 29. Well, have you done in 45 minutes? I'm like, yeah.
Nice. Brian Jess, good to see you, buddy. Glad you're here. Glad things are going well. James Vaughn, good to see you. Let's see. Bear Hunter, sup, Sean. Scrolling through Tucker Dan. I can't help it.
Hey, I had a new experience this week, Charlie.
Oh, tell us about it. Do tell, sir.
I did a drop and hook.
Oh.
So I
That's
had my
weird.
last trailer for about 6 weeks. And then this week I had a drop and hook, and now I've got a different trailer, but I've had it ever since, and we'll probably have it for another 6 to 12 weeks, I guess.
Nice, right? Hey,
Well,
Chris is accusing me of cheating. Or he's accusing Craig of cheating. I'm not sure which one it is. We're going to have
takes
to
two
fight.
to tango there, Brody.
Whoa. Oh, I like it. No, I don't let anybody know. I literally never know when I'm going to put it up.
He doesn't even tell me.
Yeah. I just do it when I'm ready to do it. Today was a rough day. So, yeah, I was actually pretty impressed with today's, the fact that I even got it done at all, to be honest. I'm just saying. Yeah. Sorry. I'm sorry, Jeff. There's going to be a lot of that cutting you off right in the middle because of my brain. Sorry. Yep. Life on 18 wheels. Josh McClain, good to see you. Global Killer Trucking. That's a new name I'm not familiar with. So I like that one. Howdy, y'all. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Tell us a little about yourself. Jump in there and say what's going on. I don't know. Is this a new name?
I don't know what bear hunters are replying to on this. Sorry, already married, can't get engaged. Oh, engagement. Right. I see. Although it is 2024 and,
Whoa. Whoa. Blackbeard, good to see you, dude. That's 2 weeks in a row, bro. Just saying. Heading east on 10, going to be parking for the night in about 5 hours in Monticello, Florida. Oh, okay. Be
So
careful.
apparently Peter is learning how to chat.
Oh, nice.
That last one with all of the emojis is him.
Oh, there you go. Victor. What's up, brother? So the big question is being an owner operator worth it? You come on, Jeff. We have a fallback answer. It
depends.
It depends. But what we do is we can talk about a couple things about that, because I personally believe it's worth it if you think it's going to be worth it.
Well, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Let's start with, how much do you like trucking?
Right.
That's the first thing. How much experience do you have? Do you really like doing the job? Do you like, tooling down the road? And are you willing to take that time? Because this is a career that requires a lot of time away from home. So you got to get that established first. A lot of people see the dollar signs, right? Because they watch the Facebook ads mainly.
Right.
Owner operators make this, owner operators make that. Yeah, some do, some don't. But if you really like the job, I think that's the first thing you've gotta establish.
Right.
And then what would the next step be, Charlie? Let's say you love this career, you love driving, you like dealing with the customers, which is crazy to a lot of people.
Right.
But you and I both actually kind of relish the challenge.
Right. I mean, there are those days, but I mean, Jeff and I are real big on getting to know what is your why. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to go super deep into that today, because I mean, look, Jeff and I can actually talk about your why probably 4 or 5 hours
A week.
And yeah. And everybody has a different why, and there is no one right answer. There's no one best answer. We've talked about, my whys in the past, and Jeff's why, and mine was horrible. My first why was god awful, but it was a why, and it's what drove me into it.
Mm-hmm.
It was simply that they wouldn't let me take my company truck home anymore because of the schedule that I worked at the time. If you lived more than 100 miles from a terminal and you were taking more than 3 days off, you couldn't take a truck home. I know it's stupid, but that's how I got into it. I'm like, well, haha, because I was working 21 days, going home for 7, 21 days, home for 7. Or I would run the length of a training cycle with a student, as I was a mentor at the time. And when that training cycle was done, I went home for a week. And that was not okay by their policy. And you had to clean the truck out. That was crazy to me, but
I
whatever.
remember those days.
But that was my why. I mean, that has clearly evolved over the years. And I mean, God, we can dive so deep into that all itself, but it's something that when you come to us and you start talking to us about this stuff, number one is going to be why. Why do you want to do this? And Jeff, I know that you're going to articulate this much better, so I'm going to let you do that. Explain the importance of the why.
Well, the why. So the reason why we harp on that so much in the beginning is because this is a really tough job. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have, I think, Charlie, the longest time I went without any pay at all was 3 months. Wow. 3 months without a paycheck, and I was running the truck. You know, some things happened. I had a judgment against me for some medical bills.
Oh, that's right.
Stupid me. I still thought at the time, oh, they can't sue you over medical bills. Ha, ha, ha.
Right.
No, they can. So I had this judgment, and because I was the way I was set up, Swift was obliged to take my entire settlement because of the laws of the state of Oregon. So 3 months it took me that we didn't make any money at all. That was the worst. But you know what I didn't do, Charlie, is I didn't turn my truck in. I didn't lose my house. Didn't lose I haven't had a car payment since before I started driving truck. But,
right.
You know, so what kept me going, even though I was literally not making any money? It's because of my love for the game. That's my why.
Right.
It was very stressful, probably more so for Donna than it was for me. But my why kept me going through that season. That's the whole reason we harp on this so much, folks. If you don't have a strong why, something that, and I'll just tell you that your first why is probably going to suck. Charlie says his sucked. Okay, it's different now.
Oh, it's yeah.
But if you go through, and I will, if you go with me as your coach, I will step you through this. I will get you to a why that will make you cry. I don't care how grizzled you are. That's the why that I'm after. That deep down, dark, secret why.
Quick side note before I forget my brain. Did you get set up with a load yet on your next one?
Yeah.
What's your schedule like tomorrow?
It depends.
See, I love
like everything else.
Well, speaking of coaching, we need to have a talk with Tim. And he was hoping that we could do it tomorrow, and we kind of blown him off all week. And it's not that we're blowing you off; it's that we just don't know what the schedule is. My schedule is now wide open for this week. So this is what I'm going to ask of you, Tim, if you're there. I know you're there. And Jeff, when you get an hour and you're done, can shut down for a day, not a day, an hour. We'll go over his stuff with him. Sound good?
Okay.
Because I'm up for whenever. Anyhow, sorry, that was a little inside business there, but I you know what? I wanted to put us on the spot for it. There you go. Okay. Holding us accountable. And look, all these people right here, over there,
are tens of people.
Yep. Our tens and tens of viewers are going to hold us accountable to this. And Tim's going to be like, remember back. Oh, by the way, another side note. This is the fun one. This is technically episode 156 of weekly episodes that we've been doing the show. That is
3 years.
3 years. Just saying. We didn't even talk about it. It just happened. Anyhow, we didn't plan anything special for it. So we're here. Back to the why, Jeff, and woof. Squirrels.
So yeah, you got to get down to that deep, dark why. The one that you don't typically tell people about, that is all your own. I'm going to ask you if you're comfortable with it to share it, at least with me and the group that you're being coached with, because it'll inspire other people, believe it or not. Those deep, dark whys are really inspiring. When I learned this whole thing, it was when I was going to a training with Dean Graziosi, actually. And the first time
Same.
someone walked him through it, it's kind of a funny story that he tells you. He's like, yeah. Just give me the framework, and so I can teach it to my people. And the dude's like, no, you have to go through this, dude.
Right.
This is a dude that's already making, millions of dollars, been on stage with people like Tony Robbins and people like that, right? It's like, no, just give me the thing and I'll teach it to my people. I'm not going to do it, D. You need to go through it. So he brought him through this thing.
Right.
By the end, the dude was just like crying. Like,
Right.
he got to this deep why that goes all the way back to like his childhood and why he feels like he needs to do this thing. And his kids were involved with his why, but it came back to how he grew up and how terrible it was to not have money and all that stuff. But you got to get down to that type of why. Wanting a red truck is not going to keep you going when you're not making money. It'll get you started,
Right.
but you got to get to that better why.
See, Jeff actually came into the industry with the plan of doing what he's doing, being a contractor, being an owner operator. I did not.
Yeah, if you guys haven't heard my story, so I'm one of those guys. I have half a college degree. I'm pretty proud of.
Half English major.
Had life happen, dropped out, just like a lot of people. And then I just went from job to job for the longest time. Spent a little bit of time in the Army National Guard, even as a full-timer for a while. A lot of people don't realize that there are full-time guardsmen. So, yeah, did that.
Yep, got out.
Sold furniture, sold telephone services. And, Charlie, when I was working for the phone company, it was still understood that you went to work for a utility, right? No matter what the job.
Yep.
Lineman, central office tech, salesperson, whatever. You did it for 20 years and you had a nice retirement.
Yep.
I kid you not. So to be vested in the union retirement package there is 5 years. I got fired at 4.5 years.
Of course.
And it was one of those deals where they were shutting down the call center. So they had made the standards so high that they ended up firing by the end 75% of the people before they shut it down. And you know why they do that, Charlie? Because they don't want to pay the severance.
Right.
That's why. And another clue on that one is that automatic unemployment, they didn't even challenge it. But so here I am. I'm in my early 30s. My dream of rising up the ladder at the phone company is dead. And I'm going to job fairs, and this was the time too when my job, I was a sales rep on the phones, right? Not outbound calls. I couldn't do that because outbound call people annoy me, so I don't want to be one of those people.
Right.
Inbound only. All those jobs went over to India, like in that 5-year period.
Yeah.
So there were no jobs that I was qualified for.
Such a rough stretch.
And I'm looking around going, all these guys driving truck, they're making money. I'm just sitting here in traffic being frustrated. And then my favorite show from kindergarten comes into my mind. You know what it was? BJ and the Bear.
Yeah, baby.
You remember BJ and the Bear?
Oh, man.
So it literally went all the way back to me, to my childhood, where all of us wanted to be truck drivers when we were in kindergarten. I'm like, yeah, what the heck? So I came up with a plan. I decided I didn't want to just be a truck driver. I wanted to be an owner operator. I didn't just want to be an owner operator. I wanted to teach. And the chips fell on Swift. Swift literally had the best program for what I wanted to do. So I went there. So yeah, I had the plan from the beginning. My why has changed a little bit over time. Not a whole lot. It still is, I love business. I always tell people that if I didn't own a truck, if I wasn't a contractor, I would own some other business. And that, let's get down a couple levels on that why, Charlie, real quick.
Yeah.
I got laid off from a dream job.
Right.
I have lost complete trust in corporate America as far as being an employee. And so you guys have heard me say before, death before employee. I'm not kidding, man. I do not trust corporate America to keep me employed. That's just my experience. It's not everybody's experience, but it was mine, and I carry that burden. So that's me in a nutshell.
Ha!
So you got to
This
get
is
down
me in a
to
nutshell. I couldn't pass it up, bro.
okay. Do you
I'm
have a
sorry.
shot? Are you high?
No, I'm trying not to have a shot. I'm just saying.
Um,
Hi, Ida.
so that's the kind of why we're talking about. You know,
Right.
you listen to what I just laid out. It literally does for me go back to kindergarten. It does go back that far to that dream as a kid of being a truck driver. I didn't get the monkey or the orangutan. I didn't get the orangutan, but whatever. I did get students for 13 years though. Does that count?
Wait. BJ and the bear. Chimpanzee.
Is it a chimp?
Yeah.
Who was the orangutan? There was one with an orangutan too.
That was Any Which Way But.
Any which way but loose.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right turn, Clyde.
That's
See?
right.
Look, don't screw up the 70s references, Jeff. They will hold us accountable, even though they don't know what the hell they are.
Yeah, my parents are probably watching this one show and they're going to call me.
Right. Actually, Ida, what we're talking about is, owner operators are worth it. And you know what, Ida, I'm going to put you on the spot. Ida runs the background behind trucking now, managing a large pain in the backside fleet. Let's be real. But Ida came to that position having been a contractor and owner operator. So, this is definitely something that you are welcome to chime in on, Ida, as you are welcome to chime in on anything, of course, anytime. But I'm just saying, this is something that's definitely in your wheelhouse. And I wish you were somewhere because I would love to put you on the screen right now and you could get up here and chat with us because I think it would be fun. But something to think about though. We've kind of dipped in the whys and things like that, and everyone is going to be a different why.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to evolve. They're going to develop, just hopefully like your businesses. Let's be real, right? But then some people's why kind of leads into the next point that we'd like to discuss a little bit is the financials. Like, oh, I'm going to make way more money as an owner operator.
Maybe.
The potential is there, but it's what you do in reality that is going to help you achieve that potential, and what you do with your business, whether or not that potential is ever achieved. Right. So, I mean, nowadays, I know people are going to run me up the freaking flagpole for it, but nowadays the earning potential as a company driver, even at a carrier like Swift, like I'm contracted to, I mean, we've got guys that are making 56 cents a mile and more with bonus incentives and time in and training and, 9 billion diamond award and all this other stuff. Right. And the potential there with those bonuses and such are absolutely, I know guys that are company drivers that make more than most contractors out here on average annually, free and clear, done.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the majority, but they are out there. And, getting into a specialized carrier or, other things like that are going to change that potential as well. Other rates are super high. I mean, let's get into the craziness, the super size stuff, those guys are killing it. Right. But the potential is important. But here's kind of a philosophy that I've always looked at. You don't chase the money. If you do well in your business, the money's going to chase you. It's just like I used to say in mentoring, great mentors don't chase money. Money chases great mentors. They don't have to think about the money. It just happens, right? In business, in your own business, it doesn't just happen. Let's not be crazy. I mean, you got to work for it. You have to be deliberate in what you do. You need to do things that are going to help you, reach that potential. And that's a lot of what Jeff and I talk about in the private community, on the show, when we're not being, just the donkeys down the air, goofing off, having a good time, enjoying the conversation with you guys. But it's something that we really talk about a lot. And there are steps that you can follow. They're not the only steps, but there are definite steps that Jeff and I follow. And we have different views of how to handle those and things like that. And see that, my bad. And so is the potential there? Absolutely. Can you make a lot of money? Absolutely. Can you lose your backside in a deep, terrible, lonely, flaming way? Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Hey,
go ahead.
everybody wants to know that how much money can I make? How much money can I make? Well, when you're in business for yourself, that's completely up to you.
Right.
It truly is. And let's talk for a second, about the negativity that's out there surrounding just the trucking industry itself. We call shenanigans on that, right? And the reason is this is because every individual has to make the best decisions for themselves. What is detrimental is when you're watching, and I'm just going to call the guy out, even though I don't remember his name. Charlie and you and I were talking about this the other day, and I actually put it in a video. He's always down on the industry. He's like 200 years old. He always does his videos in front of his black Peterbilt that looks all shiny and new, whatever. And I guess that's his "I used to be a trucker" stance. And he's always talking about all the scam this, scam that. Well, if you listen to that guy, he ran really well apparently for decades. But in the end, what happened? He folded.
Right.
So I'm not going to listen to him. He closed his business.
You can learn all of the things not to do.
Yeah. Like keep hauling produce out of California, even though AB5 is coming and CARB is coming. But anyway,
right.
That's literally what happened to this poor guy. I don't fault him for that, but what he could have done, and yeah, this is a criticism, and I guess that's kind of negative, but when stuff like that happens, folks, do you have the fortitude, the resilience to pivot and change your business model?
Right.
Help me with names here, Charlie. Let me get up here. Brian Jess, good example. Brian Jess, I'm going to read his comment and then we'll talk a little bit about him. My wife owner op is way worth, anyway, way worth it. Since I left Swift, I never complained about anything except idiot drivers. She said, I've never been so positive. I learned a lot at Swift and owe them my success today. So he started off at Swift. He had big plans. I mean, this guy, and one of the things we talked about, Charlie, is vision. This guy had a vision for himself that he wanted to be here, not here. And he made a very risky move, in my opinion. But you know calculated. What? He had the why. He had the vision. He knew where he wanted to go. He knew what he wanted to do. Swift was a good stepping stone for him. It wasn't quite doing what he wanted to. So what did he do? He pivoted. And now he's out there running the market. Okay. And he's doing really well. So if you're in a place, and I know we talk a lot about Swift this, Swift that, but that's just because Charlie and I worked for them for so long. If you're in a place and you're not happy with it, get back to your why and figure out, okay, this carrier, this situation, whatever, is not getting me here. I want to be here. What do I need to change to get there? So if you have those things, if you have the why, if you have the vision, you know where you want to be in like 10 years. You have that solid in your mind. And you can imagine it. You're falling asleep and you can, oh, yeah, in 10 years I'll be
Right.
doing this, type of thing. Then you can make the decisions that will allow you to enjoy success in business. If you don't have those things, that's where we start getting into the negative territory of being an owner operator. If you don't do the work to figure out your why and get your vision set, you're probably not going to be happy with it. I can't think of a nicer way to say that, Charlie.
Right. It's legit.
I mean, you look at my operation. I was at Swift for almost 18 years. I took an opportunity with another group for more reasons than just driving, by the way.
Right. Yeah.
It totally moves the needle forward in several areas that I needed to move forward. I made that pivot. And Charlie, you and I discussed this a lot before I made the move. It was not an easy decision.
Right. Oh, dude, we talked for like weeks and hours about this.
Right.
I mean hours at a time for weeks. That's broken.
Mm-hmm. And then it just became time.
Right.
So I would say a lot of people that we talk to, especially on social media, Charlie, we'll talk to people for years. They're asking the same questions every couple months. And man, I just feel like, dude, either pull the trigger or stop talking.
Yeah.
One of the two, just make a choice.
Paralysis by analysis.
Right.
Ooh. You know what's funny about that is Jeff and I have found ourselves there in the past. It's a thing.
Yeah, we have.
But we've absolutely found ourselves paralyzed by overanalyzing things, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, what if we do this and maybe we should do it this way? And we don't know how to do it that way yet. Well, let's learn how to do it that way first. And then we'll sometimes, it's going to sound a little risky to some. Sometimes you just got to do it. Mm-hmm. But do it with some understanding, with your why intact, with a vision of how you're going to go about this, right? And some education to go along with that vision. We're not talking about, you don't need a 40-year degree to do this. I don't have one. Jeff doesn't have one. Most people that I know in trucking don't have one. Mm-hmm. Right? And a lot of people that I've seen actually don't have any formal business experience that are doing phenomenal jobs. And I've seen people come in with a ton of education in business, legitimate, right? That fail miserably. The trucking business is its own beast at times. It's really got some intricate things that are just really subtle differences from normal business to trucking business. It's almost, it hurts my head sometimes just thinking about the differences, because what may work in construction, in whatever, from the business aspect, doesn't necessarily work here. But I guess you could say that about a lot of industries, but we talk about trucking, so that's where we're at. But yeah.
Well, part of it is that the regulations keep changing so often, and you have to keep abreast of that.
Oh my God. Regulation.
It's quite a thing.
Right.
To try and keep up with all that stuff.
So
and then they'll have there's times too, Charlie, you and I have experienced this, where they change the hours of service rules, and you have to abide by those rules until the ATA sues the federal government for an injunction, and then has them overturned. So then you go
Right.
back to the old rules.
Right. And then that loses in court or it doesn't later on, and
Right.
then you're flip-flopping, and good God, it's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
But you know, so we've talked about, you know, the your why, having a vision, and what the potential is, right? But it kind of leads us into, you know, what are those responsibilities, right? What are the responsibilities that you as a trucking business owner have to your business, to your family, to whatever else is out there in your life, right? I mean, Ida can tell you, you know, the potential is great. You know, she was talking about running as an owner truck, bought her first house,
Yep.
right? And then she followed a different path after that, you know, and that's her story to tell. But that put her into a management role, a minor management role, which stepped into a much larger, more, I don't want to say more important management role, but a higher level management role. You know, and now she has, you know, I don't even know how many trucks anymore. That number bounces all over the place. But I mean, she's responsible for an awful lot of people on the back end. So Ida's kind of an interesting person for us to have around us. And I love Ida to death. I call her Mama Ida, and she says Rosie's her favorite, but I know that it's really me, but whatever.
Me.
Right. It's
That's
anybody.
because she doesn't have. That's because she doesn't have to deal with me every day.
Right. But you know, I just lost where I was going with that. Oh, but Ida has this beautiful expertise and a way of looking at things, because she can look at it. She can look at it from the management side, trucking, big conglomerate trucking management side, right? She can see it from the single truck owner operator side, and she can look back at the company side, right? So I mean, she's got all of these different views, and this is one of the reasons I dig Ida's input, because I talk to Ida a lot about business and stuff like that, and she asks me questions, and she says, "Hey, uh, I got a guy and he's having a hard time. Could you talk to him?" And we're like, "Yep." And here's the funny part is the people that are sent to us, right? And this isn't to toot our horn, so I don't want it to it may come off like that. That's not the intention. If you are willing to actually do better and you follow the guidance that we provide you, the vast super majority of those people that we get to and are sent to us do better, because now they have a map that they can follow, and they finally learn how to actually run their business and do it better, and do better for their families or their situations, right? So it's not us. We simply give you a map. You guys then have to do the work.
Right. It's your
You know?
story.
Right.
Our story is already published for the most part.
It's out here every week. Good Lord. All over the interwebs, the knucklehead things we've done in the past, and I mean,
Right.
I don't call them failures, but huge mistakes we've made and things like that. That's part of what we do. We share those mistakes with you guys.
And that's really what we bring to the table in everything we do, is that experience. The good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. One of the things that we have done is, they'll send somebody will say, "Hey, talk to Jeff or Charlie," and they talk to us. And part of the conversation is whether or not they should stay an owner operator or not.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't for everybody. Don't think that it is. Just because it's easy to go lease a truck from a mega carrier doesn't mean that it's for you. I mean, if you've got the mindset already set, you want to do this, it's absolutely worth it. The next step is going to be, getting into those numbers and seeing if you can weather the storm of that learning curve. Because there's
Right.
an absolute learning curve when you go from being a company driver to being an owner operator. You go from being responsible for delivering freight on time without hitting anything. That's it. That's what you're responsible for.
Pretty
To
low bar there.
to, okay, I've got truck payment, I've got insurance, I've got fuel, I've got this, I've got that. You're responsible for the whole business. And there's a whole laundry list. That's only a few of them. You know, the freedom that you're probably craving by becoming an owner operator, I'm just going to put it out there, Charlie. It doesn't happen the first year.
It could
That
take you
first
several
year,
multiples.
that first year, you're going to need to stay out more and learn how to run that business. Typically, what I see in the people I talk to is that they initially take a pay cut
Right.
when they go owner operator. And then they get all bummed. That's usually about the time Charlie and I get to talk to people. We would prefer to talk to people before they make the leap.
Right.
And get them on the right track. Because what that's going to do is that's going to shorten that learning curve.
Chris Hamilton's a
quite
great
a bit.
example of that.
Right. You know, he had a lot of experience trucking on the company side. Decided he wanted to be an owner operator. Tried to
Stumbled
talk him
across
out of
us.
it eventually.
He stumbled
Initially, we
across
tried to-
us. Yeah.
We tried to talk him out of it, but he had that vision. So he said, "All right, let's get you going in the right direction from the get-go instead of taking a year to figure it out."
Right.
And he's doing great.
He's about 6 months into it. He's solid, been solid from the get-go. Started doing all the right things from the very start, and he's just not even looking back. You know, it's been a couple of rough weeks, but he's been profitable the entire time. I love the dude because he is a poster child of how to do it.
Yes.
You know, we gave him this little map, and we pointed out some points along the route. Right, hit these points, bro. But he had to do the work. Right, just because we tell you how to do it doesn't mean it's going to work. Because if you don't do the work, it doesn't just happen.
Right. You want to throw Craig up there real quick?
Yeah. I was sorry. Craig asked, "What do you all think is the reason?" Or wait, what do you all think the reason is that many have a hard time transitioning their mindset from company to owner? And I think this is a great question, and it kind of brings us into it's part of the why, part of the vision, and it brings us into that mindset, because that mindset from company driver to business owner is a big thing. And then this is really Jeff's, this is so Jeff's wheelhouse. So I'm gonna shut up for a minute, Jeff. Sorry.
Oh, you might be surprised how many people that I ask that question. Why do you want to be an owner operator? And well, let me see if you get it right, Charlie. What's the number one reason people give
for being an owner operator?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, for me, I've heard more freedom or a red truck.
Right. It comes down to the why.
Right.
They never really wanted to be business owners in the first place. They got promised go faster.
Yeah.
Which will kill your bottom line, by the way.
Right.
They got promised, oh, you can go home whenever you want. Okay, well, we know people that do that and they don't last long.
Right.
Especially that first year. They get promised, oh, look at what you're going to make as an owner operator without even discussing what the costs are.
Yeah, they talk to you about gross.
Mm-hmm.
Never talk to you about net.
Right.
It's insane.
That's why is that most people that we see going into the business at the mega carriers, especially, the independents aren't immune from this. I see it a lot on certain Facebook groups where, why are you in business, man? It's like, oh, I don't know, I just needed a job. So what, you started a business because you needed a job? Go get a job. You got a CDL.
Stop paying for a job and own your business.
Right.
I've heard some guys say that before.
Yeah. So, you know, that's why we stress this so much, folks, is that don't think of it so much as being in the trucking business. This is my take on it. Don't think of it so much as being in the trucking business. Think of yourself as an entrepreneur first. I've always told people, even back when I was mentoring, when students would ask me, hey, how do you like the trucking business? And I would tell them, well, first of all, I'm a business person.
Right.
I'm an entrepreneur first. I just chose trucking as my vehicle, no pun intended,
Uh,
to drive that business. I could have chosen my dream of a game store, right? I love gaming. I could have opened a game shop. I could have opened a small car lot. I have experience with that.
Jeff's going to be 80 years old running a Warhammer store. Just saying, throwing it out there.
Hey, man,
I dig it, bro.
People will listen to me there,
Right?
I could have done Amway. Anything, any other business. I chose trucking, and I'll tell you why. I'm not proud of it, but it's easy for me. Trucking is so much easier than running a retail store, trying
Right.
to sell Amway. Certainly easier than selling cars. I got to tell you. It's a business, and here's where I will say it's absolutely worth it. So trucking is one of the only businesses that I know that you go down and you talk to a dude or a lady, and you say, "I want a red Kenworth," and they say, "I've got you covered,"
Here you
and
go.
they sell you that truck, lease you that truck, whatever. And you know what? You're profitable the very first week. It's the only business I know of that's like that. The challenge is staying profitable over the long term.
Right. And that, a large deal, a great number of the people that join our private Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group that we built a long time ago just for Swift contractors. So little inside baseball here. It's funny. We track that group by current, active, valid contracts.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a valid, active contract with Swift Transportation as a contractor to be in that group. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. I have people that help me, so it's cool. Anyhow, but we average anywhere between 200, 250. I'm not averaging. We range between 200 because words are important. We range between about 220 to 250 people in that group at any given time. And we lose on average about, lately it's been down in the range of about 10 a month. Of those 10 people that we lose in a month, okay, the numbers show that about 80% of them had zero engagement, asked zero questions, participated in the group 0% of the time. And here's the thing, they are less than 3 months in the group.
Mm-hmm.
They've been in the group less than 3 months. It's crazy because they had this community, they had this wealth of knowledge at their fingertips.
That's like walking off the field before the ball is even snapped.
Right? And just walk away. Talking about,
think
it's
about
a walk away lease. No, it's not, by the way.
No. You think about just that group, right? And the mastermind group that we're building for the broader market
Right.
out there.
For
it's gonna be even
everybody.
better. 250 people. And let's just say that the average person there has been trucking for 10 years. That's a lot of experience. Why wouldn't you ask questions? It's not just Charlie and I that answer questions in that group. It's Craig, it's Sean, it's whoever's got an answer.
Right.
It's not always us. We like to chip in, but the real value there is all of these people with all this experience. If you're at Swift and you're in this group that is just Swift guys, and they're just Swift guys, and you have a question about Swift, somebody in that group's got an answer.
Right.
Somebody's got an answer. I mean, how many times, and Facebook's a weird thing, Charlie, because answers get lost. So we see the
Right.
same questions over and over again, but they always get answered. The common one there for about 2 years was, hey, how do I get a hold of those owner operator planners?
Right. Oh,
It was like every other week. But, you think about it like, well, we already answered that. But yeah, it's like 5,000 scrolls down the page.
by the way, in Facebook, you can do a search. There's a little magnifying glass thing for a search in a group, and you can actually type in your question. I bet you'll find the answer. Not that we don't like answering the questions. We will absolutely do that. Some people will be a little snarky sometimes, like, oh my God, I roll. Whatever. Hey, it's just a thing. If you have a question, you should absolutely ask the question. Always ask the question.
Now, when Charlie and I answer, though, there will almost always be this line. It's in the contract.
Right. Sometimes we'll point out the exact section of the contract.
Mm-hmm.
That really seems to
And-
tap some people's backsides.
And, Sean, you're here still, I see. Have you opened up your permit book, even though you're on the pathway to ownership right now, like I am? Have you opened up your permit book and looked at their ICOA? Because that's going to be your ICOA when you buy your truck. I would start on that now. I'm just putting that out there.
That was cool. I had weird things pop up on my screen. Sorry. Apparently, I had some weird updates just happen while we're talking. That's great.
So yeah, James Vaughn says,
I'm going to translate. Go ahead.
I used to say I pay to work here. Now I've changed my thinking. Absolutely. That's one of our things. Stop paying for a job and start driving your business. It's a big mistake that people, what we see happening is, so you go to an academy, whether it's Swift or IITR, whatever.
Right.
You go to a company, Swift, Werner, what's another big one that hires students? I don't even
know anymore.
Most mega carriers will hire students. And then you start hearing about all this great money that owner operators can make.
Right.
So that gets it in your head.
You start hearing that in the academies and stuff.
Right. Now, you've never wanted to be a business owner before, but you're seeing the dollar signs.
Right.
So then you go lease a truck, which, by the way, we have an opinion on that. We've made it pretty clear. It depends on the market if leases are better than purchases. Right now, it's kind of and then you keep driving that truck the way your mentor taught you to 6 months ago.
Right.
And then you
Unless-
wonder why you took a pay cut.
If they had a mentor like that guy or this
Yeah,
guy,
that guy.
look, I was teaching my people from day one. Look, you're in a owner operator truck.
Mhm.
I'm going to do things differently. You're going to do things differently when you are running your company truck. The way to make money in a company truck is drive as fast as you can, get there, and try and get as many miles done as you can.
Yep.
Plain and simple. End of equation.
Because again, your job there is to get freight from point A to point B without hitting anything, and that's it. That's your job.
Yep. By the way, Sean is still here, and he's telling you he's a changed man. Yes and no. We see it. We see the changes you're trying to make, Sean. We just have to keep kicking in the testing.
Do I need to pull up Messenger and show you a picture?
Right. I know that. But no,
Yeah.
Paul Hightower, this is interesting. I hear people say two different things, and I'd ask Paul, what are those two different things? If you could put that in the chat, I would like to hear the two different things. I think I got a pretty good idea. Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
So they go and they keep driving the truck the way they did as a company guy, and it's not working out. They're not making as much money as they did as a company guy.
Right.
There's things that you need to learn how to do. And I got to tell you, Charlie, and Sean is a perfect example of this one. how hard it is to slow the truck down,
Right.
to drive for fuel mileage instead of trying to get those miles. Because fuel being your number one expense, um, you know, you have a truck that'll do 70, 80 miles an hour because you're an owner operator.
Right.
Okay. Does the load require you to go that fast? And are they paying for that extra fuel? Now, we had a little bit of discussion on Facebook this week about that. You know, slowing down is great. This, that, okay. There are contracts out there. I've seen them where people are actually paid to drive 80 miles an hour. They're getting a great mileage rate. And the reason is because their customer wants them point A to point B in this amount of time. And it's really tight. And you've got to do 70, 80 miles an hour to do it. But they're compensated for that.
Right.
So when you see these guys out there with their long nose piece doing 200 miles an hour, I don't know, maybe they're getting $4 a mile. Right? If I was getting $4 a mile and I was told you have to have it here and it's really tight, but it's $4 a mile, I'm going to speed the truck up.
Look at them bull haulers.
Because the compensation that I'm getting for those loads is commensurate. You like that? I used a big word.
That's a good one.
Commensurate with the speed I'm doing. Now, when you're at a carrier, typically that's not going to be the case. You're on a mileage contract. I'll just use the Swift one, $1.15 a mile. That's what you're getting. You're getting $1.15 a mile plus surcharge. So why drop your fuel mileage by half a mile per gallon by going faster
or more
when the load doesn't require it? And especially in this market, you're just going faster so you can sit longer.
Right. Idle more.
I remember when I was doing Walmart in Opelika, Charlie.
Yeah.
And I was 68 all day long. Heavy loads. My fuel mileage was in the low sevens because of that. But they were paying me so much. Right? We penciled it out. Charlie and I did. We penciled it out. And I was still beating him. We both had paid for trucks at the time, so it was a fair comparison. I was still beating him and Rosie on profit per mile.
Right.
Doing 68 the whole way.
Yep. He was utilizing every minute of his clock to the utmost, to the point where he was producing 1.5 times the amount of freight movement than their normal folks on their account.
Right. Which is why I was able to stay there for 3.5 months.
Right.
Because I provide that value to them. So, yes, we talk about slowing down. We talk about the fuel mileage. But this is another thing about being an owner-operator. You got to do the math. You know, I know that
every day.
I've heard rumor. I've never worked at Landstar, so I got to be careful here. That they have loads, their brokers do have loads that are like that, where they're like, well, you got to have it here by the end. And, you know, they're a percentage company and they're negotiable because they have their own brokerage house. So it's more like doing DAT than doing Swift.
Right.
And so the BCO, they call them over there, the owner operator will say, well, but that's going to require me to do 75, which is going to cost me this much more fuel. What are you going to kick down for that? And they do. You know, or they don't. You just say pass on the load. You got to be smart about it. You know.
Paul Hightower said, some say it's no money to be an owner operator. Others say it's more money and freedom. Those are both valid statements.
And they're both true.
Right.
Does that bake your noodle a little bit, Paul? I mean, that's why we start with the mindset and the vision. Because if you have the mindset and the vision, you're going to be able to weather times like right now that we're going through right now, because you've got a longer term view. I can tell you that when it's bad, it's really bad for us.
Right.
More so than it is for company drivers, because they don't have fixed costs to worry about. The only thing a company driver's worried about is, man, I'm like 2,000 miles away from home and I haven't moved in 4 days. This sucks. That's the concern of a company driver. The concern of an owner operator is, dang it, I got a truck payment. It's due on Friday.
Right.
I got insurance due on Thursday. Right? Those are the stresses that we have as owner operators. It's just different.
I have a fixed cost base of about $938 a week.
That's
If
not
the
bad.
if the truck does not move, if I don't turn the truck on, so no fuel is used, it's about $134 a day to sit there and do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to think about, when I do take that time off, when I am not doing things, what is it costing me to not do those things? And how do I meet that obligation? Now, and that's just the cost of the truck. That doesn't meet my personal home obligations or my business obligations.
Right. So I will say, though, that when things turn around, because Charlie and I have both been through several of these already in our careers, and I wanted to say something about something up there, but I'll get to it in a minute. When it does turn around, and it will turn around, I promise you it will. Because, and Charlie's heard me say this before, if it doesn't, we have much bigger problems.
Right.
Yeah, we're
I'm
talking
dipping into
total
my silver and
collapse.
gold supplies and bugging out.
Talking total collapse, get the bug out kit, walk home, that sort of thing.
Right,
But
right.
every time this turns around, a couple of things have happened by then. A lot of people have gone out of business, but you survived. So
Right.
when things turn around, there's more freight than there is trucks all of a sudden. And the rates go up. The mileage goes up.
And you learn how to run lean.
Right. And here's the key. Here's your golden nugget on this one. If you're an owner operator today and you're struggling, learn how to not struggle in this market. Learn the things that you need to do to stay in business. Now, chances are you're not going to go buy a mansion this year.
Right.
You're not going to buy a brand new truck this year or a couple boats or whatever strikes your fancy, or motorcycles, whatever.
Shout out.
You're not going to do that because there's just not enough money in the market. But, and here's the key, and I want you to hear me on this. When things turn around, don't go back to your old habits. That was the number one thing in about 2010, 2011, when things turned around after the housing crisis. Man, we made so much money.
Right.
So much money. We went from, Dawn and I went from, I guess we're not putting anything in savings right now, to, hey, we can go out to eat again, and we can do this again, and we can do that again, and
we can move to Utah.
Right. But it's because I kept the habits I learned during the last downturn. I just kept doing it the same way. And so my profits went like this.
Right.
When you go from 1,800 miles a week to 3,000 miles a week consistently, bam.
Right. You can go back to saying, I'm not running all those empty miles. That's like 100 miles to 3,000 loaded miles. I'm not doing that. That's too big a percentage. You can do that then.
Right.
Don't do that now. It doesn't make sense.
And I'm talking about your other trucks, Bear Hunter. Anyway, trying to call me out. I'll call you out.
Let's fight. Fight. Oh, finish him.
But so yeah, when you learn the habits that allow you to survive a market like we're in today, keep doing things that way when the market turns around. When you go from 1,800 miles to 3,000 miles, I use that example on purpose. You can do 3,000 miles really easy at 60 miles an hour. Let's say you sped up so you could get 3,600 miles a week. Do the math on fuel mileage on that. We're not going to do it right now because our brains hurt too much. But I can tell you we have done the math, and it does not pencil out. I think we actually figured out, the difference between 60 and 70 miles an hour, you would have to do pretty close to 3,800 miles, I think it was,
Right.
to make up for the fuel at 3,000 miles. So slow down. You're doing your 60 just like you did during the lean times, but now you're
Right.
doing 3,000 miles a week, and watch your profits just skyrocket. Now,
Oh, it's
Jeff's big mistake.
exponential gain, by the way.
Right. Yeah, not really a mistake. I used my money for a good thing. Moving my family to Utah. Y'all have heard that story time and time again. We've argued about it even. During those good times, put some money aside. I use the biblical formula, I call it. 10%. Put 10% into my savings account every week. That builds up. If you're making $2,500 a week, that's $250 a week in your savings account. At the end of the year, you've got a really nice little nest egg going there.
Right.
All of a sudden, you can stroke a check for a transmission. How good does that feel?
Right.
You can take your family to Hawaii and, call Swift from the beach and say, hey, yeah, I just need to give you my debit card number to pay my lease payment this week.
Right.
Yeah, I'm in Hawaii.
Right.
That's something, that's a big mistake that a lot of people make, though. In the good times, you got to save some money.
And that's what a lot of us don't do, though.
Right.
I mean, literally, we make more, so we spend more. We've got it. We want that thing. We want that shiny thing. And this, I'm not cracking on you, Sean. I swear, I'm not. I've been known to do it myself.
No.
Yeah. But you want that, okay? You want that shiny thing, and you got the cash in your hand, and I'm gonna spend it. I've said this openly before. I'm a live today, damn tomorrow person. Have been my entire life. Unfortunately, passed on to me by my mother. Instilled an insane, great work ethic into me. But now imagine if she put that work ethic and the frugal side, well, the savings side, because she was actually pretty frugal. But if she put the savings and the ethic in, oh man, I'd be unstoppable, bro. So that's something that I struggle with.
You want to hear? This might actually make you mad, Charlie, because I'm kind of the same way. If it wasn't for my wife, we'd have no savings at all. She's the sane one. Did you know that my mom was an accountant? So I actually did grow up with that example. And I don't know. It's a character flaw.
Right.
I recognize it. Thank goodness I married the opposite on the financial point of view there.
Michael said he did that.
Yep.
I got sidetracked. My brain broke.
So Virgil Kane, are you in England? Do we have a
in Manchester?
England?
Yeah, he's in Manchester, bro.
Nice. Welcome.
I don't know how to address your comment, bro. Virgil. It's virtually impossible to get a leg over. I got to put it up there just because it's from England and it's fun. It's virtually impossible to get a leg over in this godforsaken town, Manchester, England. The birds really fuss. Any thoughts, guys? I'm going to ask, which birds are you referring to? Because I could think of several different things, and it could take me down a completely different path that may or may not get me in trouble. So, I'm just saying.
So this is something, though, since we have someone from England, a lot of people in the States here, we tend to be very isolationist in our views.
Right.
I don't think people realize that what's going on here is also happening everywhere else in the world.
Right.
This is not, poor U.S.
Right.
The economy, whether you like it or not, a lot of people don't want to acknowledge this, but I encourage you to acknowledge it. It's a world economy at this point. What happens over in Europe affects us. What happens here affects them. It's all linked together.
Right.
So,
It's a world
it
economy.
is. It is. I would have to know more about how finance actually works in England to even sound intelligent on a question like that. I know here in the States, it's just a matter of, like my mom always said, my mom taught me that if you're able to pay all your bills, you're rich, because most people in the world cannot. If you're able to save $1 in the bank after your bills are paid, you're wealthy.
It's fair.
And I think that's a really good way to look at finance, because I think we could go down this woe is me rabbit
Very
hole.
easily.
Well, let's talk about what we make, Charlie, real quick. This is another part of that Paul's statement there. What is a lot of money? Even company drivers. The last time I looked it up, the average driver in the United States made about $58,000. The poverty line in the United States is $48,000. Now, where do they come up with that? It's the median income is where they come up with that. So most drivers make better than half the country. Now, add on to that what we make as owner operators. Closer to 75 is the average. We're blowing away half the country. So what is a lot of money? And for those of you that think that drivers make six figures, some do. Very, very meticulous operators will make that. I can tell you that in my operation, I broke six figures twice in the last 18 years. And those were just really exceptional years, and I leveraged everything. The crazy thing about those years, Charlie, I didn't work nearly as much. I was home all the time those years.
Right.
But it was the market, right?
It was the booms.
And for me, it's not worth it if you're not making six figures. Look, here's something else I'll say. When you're a business owner, and this is one of the big perks, I get to choose when I work and when I don't.
Right.
I only work, when you add all the days I have out in a year, I only work 7.5, 8 months out of the year.
My average is about 40 weeks a year.
Yeah.
And that's my goal. I don't want to work more than that.
For me, it's not on purpose. It's that I get home and then I just don't want to leave.
Right.
And I kind of drag my feet. I'm like, I should get back to work. And then Donna's like, we have a mortgage to pay. Get out there. I'm like,
Get out of the house.
okay.
You're driving me nuts.
But yeah, I mean, you get to choose. That is an absolute perk of being an owner operator. I had a family emergency about 2 years ago, and I was working in Opelika, Alabama. I got a call that one of my children was in hospital. And you know what I did? I didn't even call Dana because it was the middle of the night. I told the people at DC, I have a family emergency. I'm going home. And I started home that night. I had 4.5 hours left on my clock. I got 4.5 hours down the road. And then in the morning, I called my OOC, Dana, and I told her what was going on. And she's like, all right, I'll take you off the boards. And I went home from Opelika, Alabama to Salt Lake City, Utah. So that is an absolutely killer benefit of being an owner operator, so that you can just pick up your toy and go home. Now, there's consequences to that. That trip cost me about $800 in fuel. I didn't have a truck payment at the time, so that wasn't an issue, right? But I did have insurance and things like that. So there's responsibilities that can't be ignored. And that would be, to a lot of people, a downside.
You'll hurt your brain. Stop it. Just stop reading it. I think cows go to heaven. I don't know. What do I know? Anyhow. Sorry. It's a Facebook comment that just popped up on our screen that most of you guys in the YouTubes can't see, and it's great. And it just tickled me. Oh, I gotta do. I'm just gonna put it
Oh
up
my!
because I can't
You're
help
gonna
it.
you're gonna have to read that.
Hey, from Manchester, England. I hope you are well. I'm a simple poor English farmer with 5,000 head dairy herd of cattle. I think that's a big herd. In Manchester City Center. I Manchester City Center. I don't even know what that looks like. I can't imagine a 5,000 herd in the middle of any city. Anyhow, last week I was checking on my bullocks when the giant cicada swept in and snatched my beloved cow Daisy, my best milker, and flew away with her, presumably to the monstrous creature's nest. God only knows what suffering she endured. I'm crying as I type this. It makes me so emotional. Sorry, my question is, do cows go to heaven? I say yes. Just for your sake, I hope they do. Bless Daisy. And if they don't go to heaven, I have a special place in my belly for them. What? Oh, he's terrible. What is wrong with that guy? Who says things like that? Love me some steak. Wow. We went somewhere there. But just kind of recap where we've gone so far, because let's bring this back into the trucking scenarios. We've talked about, understanding your why, knowing what your why is. Ida, please let that man join live. Yes. Knowing what your why is, having a vision, looking at the potential income of that of a company driver to an owner operator. There's ups and downs, there's good things and bad things to both sides of that. It really comes back to what your vision is and what your why are. And understanding the responsibilities that you have to your business, your personal life, your commitment to all of these things, right? And we've been kind of talking about evaluating the risks and the rewards. Of course, the rewards are business ownership, a little more freedom when you run the business right. If you're not running the business right, you may not have any freedom at all. You will be a slave to that truck, right? If you run it right, when things are great, man, you're going to have all the time in the world to do the things that you really want to do. But to get there, you need to do a lot of hard work. And sometimes that hard work isn't physical. We're not talking about digging a ditch. We're talking about things that you necessarily don't want to do. The hard things are the things you don't want to do, right? And getting that work done is what's going to make or break you. Slowing down. You want to drive 80 miles an hour because it's fun, it looks cool, whatever. You want to drive a big flat nose truck, great. Not the best way to make money,
right?
In most operations. We've got tons of people right here. Chris Hamilton is a prime example of what to do right. Yep. The man has set himself up in a great position. Craig Hutchinson, another great one. Look, I can name a bunch of you guys. Don't get mad at me because I'm not throwing your name out there. These are the quick ones that just jump right into my mind. We've got people that are, I know several people that have reached out this week and told me in some testimonials that they sent in and said, hey, I paid my truck off, or hey, I'm about to pay my truck off. In the next 6 months, I'll have my truck paid off. Right. And they're in a position where they're going to do that. So, we have people out here that are doing the hard work, doing the right things. It's not because of us. It's that the community as a whole has contributed so much, right? The community shares its collective knowledge in a mastermind.
Don't do it.
I know, I'm avoiding it right now. And I'm not even looking at it. I'm trying to not purposely look at that comment. But trying to the mastermind group that we're putting together, which is what our community is really. It's a meeting of minds, a conglomeration of minds and we talk about where we talk about the mistakes we've made. I almost said failures, but they're not failures unless you don't learn from them. We do see some failures because people do not learn from them, right? If you're not learning from the mistake that caused your business to no longer be a business, that is a failure. If you learn something and can move forward from that, that's just a setback. That's a restart. That's a pivot. To use buzzwords, right? And those things are important. But listen, research, and pay attention, right? Be a part of the group. Be a part of that community. Use it for what it is, and really find the benefits to it. Some of you here, and it's fine. I'm not saying it's not. Aren't in that community, so you're not seeing the things that we're talking about every day or every week, right? And you're not going to get those classes that we're going to be building and teaching and putting out there, right? And that's fine. I mean, we're going to still be touching on the stuff that we touch on, just like we always do, right? But the fine details are over in that community. I mean, it just is what it is. We can't. It's not a sugarcoat thing. It's not a hard sell. It just is what it is. But if you want to find that benefit and find that community that's going to help you get through those things, guess what? You don't have to look. It's being built right now. It's evolving every day. Yeah. I mean, hey guys, we call it the Road Warrior Entrepreneurs community, right? And we're here for you. We look at all of you guys as Road Warrior Entrepreneurs. You're in this, out here fighting these battles on a day-to-day. You're a warrior in your business. Right. And you're an entrepreneur. There you go. That's the Road Warrior Entrepreneur. You're out here sludging down the highway and doing what you got to do. And you can make your life easier, I believe, by being a part of that community, because you're going to have all these people and all this experience to help you out.
So you've got the mindset, you've done the research, you've got the vision, and you've decided this is what you want to do. Hold on to that vision like your life depended on it.
It does.
It's going to change a little bit, but it shouldn't change as much as your why does over time. Let me explain that just a second. Because your grand vision needs to be so detailed. It needs to be from the heart of, I want to be this in this amount of time. It needs to be very detailed. Charlie, how long did it take you to come up with yours? It was over a week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Of slogging over it and asking questions of peoples and machines.
Yes, machines.
I mean, one of the things, and I don't think I'm giving away the store here at all. One of the things you can do is get on ChatGPT. Use AI to help you with this stuff. A lot of us, myself included, I have my fancy half of a degree in English, but I use AI to help me think through things. It's a very useful tool. You can plug things into it and get real answers back. The one we use is proprietary and is kind of programmed to think like Tony Robbins, which is kind of cool. But ChatGPT, Charlie used that more than I did. How did ChatGPT do for you?
ChatGPT was actually a pretty good, useful tool. I actually paid for the premium version of it, right? Because it just gave you a few more extra tools and a little more fresher data sets, right? Because those AIs are built on data sets, and whatever is inputted is what they're drawing from. So, maybe it has the data from the internet as of 2023.
Yep.
Right. Some are more real time and constantly evolving, things like that. Anyhow, but I thought it was very helpful. I now use GG, like Jeff was talking about, which I think is phenomenal.
Right. And here's how you use it, because there's all sorts of controversy around AI, and they're going to take over the world, and the Terminator is coming, whatever. Use it to help you plan things. It's got this huge database. It's not real time, but it literally goes and searches the entire internet to find answers for you. And we just found it really helpful. So there's your little bit of free advice for the day. When you're going through some of this stuff, it took me not quite as long as Charlie did, but that's because I've gone through these exercises many times in the past. But my vision statement, as they call it, is actually a story. It's the story of, this is a day in the life of Jeff in 2034.
Right.
And here's what you do with that. At least once a week, read it, refresh your memory, change things that maybe sound wonky after a few weeks or months or years, because you'll change some things. But then start asking yourself, Charlie, what is 2034 Charlie doing right now?
Right.
It causes you to pause.
Right.
Now, what's the next natural step in business? This is not going to be the case for all of you. Not even close. Okay, I'm just going to put it out there. You want the ultimate freedom. You want to be a big shot, whatever. How many of you have thought seriously about growing a small fleet of your own and hiring drivers? Now, this takes time. The people that we know that have done this, it's taken them over a decade to get to the point where they're truly, truly free. They don't drive at all anymore. They just run their fleets. That's one of the reasons why we go out 10 years, right? What's your overall 10-year vision look like? Do you want to be a fleet owner? If not, that's okay. What do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Be specific. I mean, as crazy as it is, Charlie, I used to be all into the suits and stuff. And although I have no desire to wear one every day to work like I used to have to,
right,
I want an Askokie suit. That's one of my things in 10 years. I want an Askokie suit. And if you guys don't know who that is, you should. Dude's awesome. He's a tailor out of Great Britain.
Maybe Virgil knows him. Maybe they're friends.
Does some pretty cool videos on men's fashion, not trends. He's very clear about that. So yeah, I mean, mine is that detailed. I've got an Askokie suit. It's a $4,000 suit. Why? Because I want one. My latest thing, which Donna is rolling her eyes at, and Charlie kind of laughed at me when I said this too, is
what?
I now want a Raptor. I want a Ford Raptor.
I don't.
Dude, if you'd seen this truck that I saw.
See how good I was, though? I didn't say things.
You could drive your Chevy to the levee all day long. I don't care.
Hey. I drive a Ford F-150, a most basic base model F-150.
So here's the story behind this, because I don't think I told it to the group. So I delivered a load. Check this out. In a tractor trailer, 53-foot trailer. One pallet, 500 pounds. They paid me to do this, okay? You figure from what I made, and, Panther's got to make their cut, right? They paid a lot for this one pallet that was specialized body panels for custom trucks. And they didn't just do Fords. They did Ford, Chevy, and Toyota. So I'm delivering this load, and in there, just coming out of the paint booth and the dry whatever. I'm not a paint person, but it was ready for shipment. Was this Raptor sitting there, and it was the most beautiful truck I've ever seen in my life. I did not ask how much one of those things cost because I don't want to dash my hopes, but it was a nice truck. I'm just saying. And you know what I'm going to do if I can afford a truck like that someday? I'm going to invite Colton out to lunch.
Right.
And I'm going to say, don't worry about it. I'll pick you up at your house. Drive up in that Raptor. Say, I beat you. I don't know if you all know this, but Colton Lawrence, the trucker CFO, got in a fairly bad accident here about, 3 weeks ago.
It was longer than that, but yeah.
Yeah, he totaled out his really nice truck that he uses to go hunting in. And you know what he's most pissed off about? It's that he has a truck payment again. He's had that thing paid off for like a decade.
But when he tries to look inside his truck now,
he can't.
It looks like this.
Yep.
That's funny. I'm sorry. I love you, Colton. He's not well this week, but whatever. There was something. What's up, TK? CW. It's because the channel is monetized and they put up random commercials sometimes. So yeah, we don't control that stuff. we just don't control it. So they put up whatever they think is appropriate for the person that's viewing. I mean, it's just the thing. Dan said he's going to reach out tomorrow, get some help getting out of the negative. TK, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Sorry, just getting caught up here, guys.
I don't know engines like some of you motorheads out there, but talking to the guys at the place that puts these trucks together, they were talking about 850 horsepower pickup trucks. That seems a little excessive to me. I didn't know that was even legal, but okay. I'm like, wow, that's like twice as much as in my big truck. Holy crap.
Right. Anyhow, but one of the things that we were talking about was joining the community. I'm gonna throw that up there. You can get it. You can go over there right now. You can go to www. I'm gonna put it in the chat. www.rwedrive.com. You can check it out. It's that rate's gonna be good through Labor Day. After Labor Day, that's going to the regular price, $57. I will be attending Driver Appreciation Week. I don't know if I've said this out loud yet or not. For Swift Transportation in Phoenix, Arizona. I believe it's the 16th of September through the 20th. If you're thinking about maybe stepping into the contractor world, Rosie and myself will be there. And what we're going to do is we're going to sit down. We'd like to talk to a lot of prospective contractors and run hard numbers with them right there, so they can make a much more informed decision on whether or not maybe they should. This isn't for them at all. Maybe they should wait a little bit, or maybe they're ready right now. I think that with the numbers, we'll be able to run with them and guide them into, maybe a little more personalized coaching. We may be able to get them squared away so that they can be a Chris Hamilton and start things off right and just never even understand what the heck we're talking about the hard times.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're not making promises. Don't take that statement as something weird, because you know what you do with the information is what you do with the information, right? If you don't implement these things, again, not
it's like I've heard in a lot of the stuff you and I have been to recently, Charlie. We don't know you. We don't know what you're going to do with the information. We can tell you it's how we've been successful as owner operators, leased to carriers, and for the last 20 some years. That you can take to the bank. We will do everything we can to help you and guide you through it. The whole point is, those big landmines that we hit, we don't want you to hit those.
Right. So TK made a statement here. He said, please have a conversation first. Swift will not tell you certain things about running your truck. I believe that's not just a Swift thing. I believe that's most people who are trying to sell you a business, sell you a truck. They aren't going to volunteer a lot of things.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few recruiters that we really, really like. We love them. They're
shout out like Michelle Cantrell, Addison. What's up?
Yeah. Almost like family, but their job is to sell you a truck.
Right.
That's their job, and we have no problem with that. But both of them will also say, hey, you might want to talk to these guys.
And sometimes when you talk to us first and then you talk to them, they're like, oh, man, you were talking to Jeff and Charlie, weren't you? Because you tend to go to them with an awful lot more questions and very detailed, specific questions about contract-related things or options or possibilities, things like that. And I think a lot of this will transfer over to any carrier that you may go to. Understanding the contracts are a huge thing. And a lot of people simply don't understand that. So, there are avenues to help you get through that, but check that out. rwedrive.com. Like I said, the price is good through Labor Day at $37 a month. We're also currently running a contest right now. So, you can gain points through, engagement in the group, in the community, and through referrals. The biggest points you get are actually from referrals. And what we're giving away at the end of this little deal is a Ram McNally headset like Jeff's got on his head now. or one just like this one here. Boop, 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 boop. Mine actually just kind of bought the farm here recently, and it's the one that I have had for well over 2 years. Jeff,
It's the one
likes
that it's the
it on
one that
his.
it's the one that he did the review on all that so long ago that it's just buried at this point.
Right, dude, that video still gets views. It's awesome. I enjoy
Yeah.
that. I get comments on it every now and then. I'm like, oh, that's great. I forgot all about that thing. But yeah, so use some of this knowledge, use some of this experience that we put together in these groups. You just wouldn't believe the amount of experience and the many good ways of achieving the goals that you may have. We're going to ask you to do some crazy stuff like share your goals.
Yeah, so I'll speak to that for just a second.
Please do.
I don't know if you remember this. It's been, gosh, probably 8-9 months ago, right? There's a guy on one of the driver groups that was thinking about becoming an owner-operator. And I asked him my standard question, why do you want to be an owner-operator? That's none of your business. My reasons are my own. And I'm like, whoa. Okay. Well, I'm just going to put it out there, folks. Got people like that. My automatic reaction to that was, okay, well, you're going to fail in about 3 months. You're not willing to discuss your business? That's personal. I get the uncomfortable feeling when you start talking about that stuff. But one of the hallmarks of an entrepreneur is go to a trade show or something where there's a lot of entrepreneurs, and just pick some dude out of the crowd and ask him, what do you do? Try shutting that guy up for about the next 3 hours.
Right. Good luck.
You will know his why. You will know his vision. You will know probably the next 3 years of steps in his plan by
And
the
probably
end of that conversation.
2 years of past steps that have worked or not worked.
And then if he's a multi-level marketer, he will try and sell you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, I mean, people that are serious about being an entrepreneur, serious about being in business, you can't shut us up about it. I got a call yesterday from OTR, the people that I'm working with, and bless his heart, he just called for a little welfare thing that they do every once in a while. How you doing? Oh yeah, last week really sucked. By the way, last week was my worst week since I've been here. It was terrible. But anyway, I started talking to him about the business, and it's like, oh well, I gotta go now.
Right.
I mean, you start talking to me about my business, man. Just prepare yourself. Mark Olinger, absolutely. A conversation with Mark never lasts less than. Wait. I got him off the phone once in about 10 minutes, but I think it's because he had to go.
Right. my typical phone conversation with Mark Olinger, and I say this, and I love the conversations we have, are about 2 hours long. Love it. We talk about life. We talk about families. We talk a great deal about business and ideas that each of us have about different philosophies on how to achieve different goals. We talk about goals. Mark is very aware of mine. I'm very aware of his. We have some really good conversations. There's a lot of fluff in between those conversations, like real deal talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we've developed a relationship over the last, God, what is it? It's got to be like 7 years now that I've been speaking with Mark. Jeff's been involved in those discussions probably 5-ish, something around there. I was introduced by Mark by Kevin Quast, our past now COO, who's an awesome dude, and that man made a tremendous impact in my heart and in my mind and in my life. Sorry, gathering. But that's how I was introduced to Mark Olinger. And I started talking to Mark Olinger when he was at that transition point from company to contractor. And Kevin told him, hey, give Charlie a call and let's have a conversation, let him talk your ear off. And, and it was funny because that first conversation mostly was me talking. I mean, I got a lot of background on Mark's work history and, where he's coming from and things like that. But most of that was actually me controlling that conversation, which is weird because usually we're fighting to talk. It's great. But he
I
did
wouldn't know
that
anything
thing,
about that.
right? but
So,
he did a ton of listening.
a little bit of inside baseball, real quick. Mark, we need to talk.
Yes, we're gonna need you next
Like,
week anyhow.
like in the next couple of days, we need to have a conversation and get some things ironed out. And I'll just leave it at that.
Wade M asks, first time watching, what company you guys lease to? I am currently contracted to Swift Transportation. Jeff is contracted to a smaller fleet, OTR
Panther.
Services, and they are currently contracted to Panther. And we have
mine's a little bit more of a wonky deal.
right.
It's profitable though. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt Charlie's feelings.
Oh, you ain't hurting nothing. You know that. Mark said, "Gotcha, no problem." Good night, TK. Have a be safe, brother.
So we have people though, Wade, in the community, in the group. We have guys that are out there running load boards like that, stuff like that.
People are all over the place.
Yeah, and that's the in my Western Star at
Dang,
Panther.
Chris.
I almost
show.
My beautiful Western Star.
You know what?
Wait. One of the things we're trying to do is we want people from as many carriers as we can get a hold of, people that have their own authority, you name it. Because what we're building is a true mastermind of owner-operators, of actual business people that have been sick. Well, whether they're successful or not. And because everybody needs their questions answered, and you can't do that in a vacuum.
Right.
Regardless of what carrier you're at, if all you do is talk to them, you're never going to see what the possibilities are.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest, Charlie. How long were we at Swift simply because we were comfortable and we weren't looking?
Right.
I mean, every year I looked at Landstar. Charlie got tired of hearing about Landstar. I never made the leap over there. I had my reasons. They're a great company, but don't quite fit with what my goals are. But you get stuck someplace and you get in this echo chamber. I'll bring up Prime. I have no problem bringing up Prime. We have people we know that do really well over there, but it's just like that. It's like a cult. You talk to their guys. Come join Prime. Prime is great. It's like they've got one of those brain suckers on their head from Futurama, right? But yeah.
But many do very well.
Our stance is anybody that is serious about business can make money in the trucking business. I don't know if you caught earlier in the show, but this is literally the only business I know of where you can go get a truck and be profitable that same week. Get your equipment, and you're profitable that week. It's amazing. The big challenge is staying profitable,
right,
and staying profitable enough to meet your goals,
and hopefully grow. Wade said, I want to start my own thing also, but not sure where to start. And that's exactly what we're talking about, Wade. You may want to catch this show on the replay and hear it from the beginning. I think you'll find some good guidelines in here, some basic, and it is very basic information, what we're putting out here. I think it's valuable information, and I think it will get the wheels turning. Look what I did there. I didn't mean to. And it will get the gears grinding. What? He did it again. What the hell is happening? It's totally not intentional. I swear. It's just flowing. It's just, wow, I can't even stop myself. Anyhow, but I think that you'll find some value here and some benefit here. And I think that you will see some maybe views or things that you need to think about, because the time is right when you feel it is right. When you are ready is when you are ready.
Yeah, and maybe one thing I'll warn you about us, though, since it's your first time with us, we
Okay,
don't start where
gentle.
most
Not really.
people think of starting.
Right.
We start way before owning a business. We
Right.
start with the whole mindset, and then we start into the business. Because what we want to do is make sure that you actually want to be in business.
Right. Not just paying for a truck, not just
Right.
paying for a job.
You know, we want you to have that long term, because you know what's happening right now. I can see that you have a picture of a truck on your profile, so you're
That
probably
I
in
would
the
love
industry
to drive.
already.
I would love to drive that truck right there.
Things are like creaky.
I love them though. My back would.
You know what's going on in the industry right now. It's tough. Why would you start now? Here's why. Number one, you want to be a business owner. Nothing's going to stop you from being a business owner. It's what you want to be. Number two, you're going to learn how to run in a really crappy market and make a profit. Why? Because you have to. People do better when they start in down times than if they start in up times, believe it or not.
I've got the New York song going through my head right now.
That's great.
If you can make
Ida
it
says, you want input from people that failed too. What did they learn? What did you learn?
anywhere, it's up to you. New business owner. Sorry.
I'm going to put a caveat on that, Ida. You have to be careful there. You have to be careful that you don't get caught up in their negativity.
Right. But the key points there are, what did they learn and what can you learn?
Right. Oh, are you already over there, Life on 18 Wheels?
Yeah, he's been there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's weird, CW. I don't know what's going on, buddy. I don't know. I don't think you may be in the he may be
There
watching it
shouldn't
from the
be.
beginning. He may
There
not
should
actually be in the
commercials
current.
in the
He may not be seeing
live.
the actual current live. He might be like lagged behind because he started from the beginning, even though we had already started. I'm just saying. Anyhow,
I thought we had it set to only have commercials in the beginning and the end, not in the middle.
I don't know.
You'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
Because that's not the first time I've heard that.
Right. But
So
it
we'll
also
look into
seems
that.
to only happen to people who came late to the show, is what I think I'm seeing. And they're probably, they could be an hour behind us right now. So he may or may not even be hearing what I'm saying right now at this very moment. But anyhow, CW, sorry, buddy.
Technology is not always our friend, just so everybody's clear on that. We so building this community page that we're doing,
This place right there, RWE
that
Drive.
place right there. Since we are not coders and we are not like gurus on the subject of computer stuff, we're trying to do this largely on our own. And there's a lot of headbanging going on.
Not the good kind. I'm going to throw myself into a migraine if I was about to start.
So anyhow. Donna, who is my wife and our social media coordinator, says we didn't have that turned on last time she checked. So I'm going to ask that you go check that again and see what's going on with that. Because
no, he said he's current 747. So I don't know, CW. It shouldn't do that. It's weird.
We'll check into it though, because obviously we need to try and monetize the YouTubes so that we can pay for all the stuff we're doing to get everything out to you guys. But yeah, we don't want commercials through the whole thing like that.
That would suck. I apologize.
That might be why we keep dropping and gaining and dropping and gaining.
Yeah, could be. Been pretty steady tonight. We are coming up to the end here, though, guys. If you got any quick questions you want us to hit, definitely throw those in the chat now so we can get those hopefully before we bounce out of here. Ida, thank you for all your input tonight. I love that lady.
Yep. And for those of you that have already signed up, our coach, our personal coach, has done a training for the group that he went live on Friday and it's now up for replay. Go check that out. It's some good stuff on mindset. My training on my morning routine, how I do what I do in the mornings, and how it helps my business. will be up next week. I've got some editing to do on it, but it'll be up. I'll commit to Friday on that. I'll have it done by Friday.
Dun.
Dun, dun, dun. And then, you guys can watch that, and then hopefully it helps your business as well. We're all about moving the needle for everybody.
Right.
A lot of the things that Charlie and I do, some of it's going to be, oh yeah, well, I knew that, you idiot.
Right.
But every once in a while, there'll be this nugget, right? And you're like, oh, I'm going to try that. And it could change your entire business. It could change your bottom line. It could change your family life. I mean, we're all into the whole what do they call it? Holistic, I guess, approach to life. We've got our businesses, we've got our families, we've got our friends. Bear Hunter's got his video games. Sorry, Sean, I couldn't resist. It's one of the things that you'll hear me teach in the coming weeks is the myth of the work-life balance. I'm just going to tell you right now, a little teaser. It's a total myth. It doesn't exist. There is no work-life balance. Just get that out of your head. That is something that was made up to make you feel bad about your life by some guru years ago. There is no balance. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else.
Right.
The trick is to be purposeful about what you're choosing. Now, when I'm out here on the road, yes, I call my family every day, stuff like that. But I am focused on two things while I'm out here because I have two businesses. I'm focused on running the truck, keeping it profitable, and you guys, the Road Warrior Entrepreneurs Group. When I'm at home, right now we're in a season of a lot of work, so not so much. But there was a time, Charlie, remember, there were years when if I was home, could you get a hold of me?
Right.
I just turned my phone off when I'm home. I'm home.
It's legit. I feel special because he will answer my calls nowadays. And sometimes I'll hear it in the background. It's dinner time. Like I literally called and he's answered the phone while I was at dinner. And that is not great because he puts me on speaker because he's trying to set me up to get in trouble with Donna and the kids. Anyhow, sorry.
And it
hey,
works.
quick thing. P. Patel, Josh from This Guy Trucks channel just left Swift says Swift sucks. He was only taking home about $1,100 a week. And that's probably a thing.
Okay.
Yeah. That's absolutely possible. Again, everybody has their own.
I can tell you this, though. This Guy Trucks never once talked to us.
Nope.
It's a fact.
Which is fine. Wade, is this a normal day and what time do you normally start? 6 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays typically. We have had a couple of Monday or Wednesday shows because of weird things happening. But this is show 156, 156 weeks consecutive that we have produced a show. And I'm going to say this 156 shows that I have been on and done.
Sometimes stoned.
Sometimes high out of my mind. Yes, coming out of surgery. Look, I had surgery. Neck surgery on our 1 year anniversary. It was comical to me. It was a little embarrassing, but it's funny.
He had appendicitis. His appendix burst.
That was in year 2.
And he came on the show for about 20 minutes in his hospital gown. Looked around outside.
Sexy. Had my little IV pole.
That's because it was in Florida and it's hot there.
Yeah, I was sweating my off.
Yeah, he's more dedicated to this than I am.
Batman.
Oh yeah.
I was in a neck brace, high out of my gourd. It was the year 1 show was great. Had execs on from Swift. It was comical. Oh my God. It took me well over a month to go back and watch that. I don't remember.
The social media group was on the show that day, and I think that they just did not exit the show because they felt sorry for Charlie. They wanted to make sure he was okay.
They were literally only supposed to be there like 15 minutes. We had Brett Stewart on, the VP of the owner-operator division at Swift. He was there like, oh my God, I'm watching this happen. This is really happening. That dude is high out of his mind right now. Yeah, so like Matt said, he brings in 1,100 on an okay week, two grand on a good week. Again, what are people's requirements? I know some people right now that if they were getting $1,100, they'd be fine. They're like, that's good money, bro. And I know people that are like, that's garbage, and that's fine too. Again, it falls back into what it is that you need to do your thing. So Wade, yeah, 6 p.m. Eastern time. I should say 6 p.m. Eastern, U.S. Eastern. I don't know time zones, whatever. Since we had dudes in here from England tonight, that was cool. Yeah, 6 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, and we are here. Oh, Mike Anderson's pushing a book series. Joshua Gayu's book coming series. I will look at. I am actually in need of a new series, so I'm going to be checking that out, brother. I saw it last week, right at the end of the show, and I didn't get to comment on it. By the way, that's Mike Anderson. His son told him to stop using his real name. That's cool.
Oh, okay.
I use my real name every day. Just saying what.
Yeah,
you can find Jeff and I on the Facebooks. Jeffrey Morton,
real names,
Morton, and Charlie Mann, Mahon. Don't hide there. Just saying.
And
I'm gonna listen to it, Mike. I promise. Oh yeah, and Matt is a Swift owner operator, by the way.
Yes.
P. Patel, yes, Jeff is no longer at Swift. He is over at a company called OTR Services, who is in turn leased to Panther Expedited.
And Wade. Wade.
Go back to Wade.
If you subscribe to the channel and hit the little
notification, the bell,
it'll notify you whenever we go live and when we put up new content.
Click and subscribe, yo.
Yeah.
I should do this because I haven't done it so long. I don't even have that up anymore, do I?
What's that?
The like and subscribe buttons. I don't even know where they went anymore. Whatever. You guys know what to do. If you like what we're talking about and you want to see more of it, or if you don't like it, whatever. Thumbs up, thumbs down. We don't even mind the thumbs down. We get.
I have a request though. If you thumbs down us,
right?
Let us know why.
Exactly.
We are completely open to criticism. If you think that we're just too jackwagony or whatever, maybe we need to be more serious. Let us know. If you like the jokes, let us know. We just kind of are who we are.
Yep.
Like Jeff Foxworthy said, we are who we are. Take it or leave it. I don't know.
Oh, this was a fun show. I've been literally been getting my butt kicked all day by migraines. I've taken a shot, had to lay down almost like I was late. I thought I set an alarm for the show, told everybody earlier after I posted the show that I'd be back at 5:15. 5:45, Rose's like, hey, babe, are you going to be doing the show? I'm like, yeah, after my alarm goes off. She's like, it's 5:45, bro. I'm like, oh, my God. She didn't really call me bro because that would be weird.
Oh, don't get me started, CW, on that one. The Bobiverse, that guy. So I read an article about that, and he's had writer block for like the last 2,000 years. And he left us kind of hanging on that last one, didn't he? I loved that series. Loved it.
You can throw that one up. Yeah, there we go. I like that one. Road Warrior Entrepreneurs. I like that little lower third icon.
Yeah, we need to start changing the branding on the channel, by the way. Just put that out there.
I know. I get it. It's a lot of work.
All right.
Hey, maybe I have some time to do this. Ida, are you still there? I wonder if Ida's still there. Ida, unbeknownst to you until this very moment, I won't be back till next Thursday. Love you. Hey, Pete Bill, I appreciate it, brother. Don't forget to hit that button, guys. We appreciate it. Irony would be Swift starts leasing Western Stars. Stop it. See, Chris, we almost made the whole show, except you're the one that did that.
I'm not saying that this will happen, but I'm trying to make a deal to buy this exact truck. And I haven't burned the bridge at Swift. I could go back. Wouldn't it be interesting if I did go back to Swift a year or two, because I'm done with my project over here, and I kind of want to go back to all the wonderful people I know over there. And the market's better. Let's put that in there.
Right.
And I show up with my nice Western Star at Swift. And by the way, Big Huggy Matt, he found me in like 2 seconds at a Flying J.
He's just got Jeff Dar.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
guess.
saying.
Donna's going to get jealous.
Ida, my PTA is still set for Monday morning at like 12:30 in the morning. It's funny. I will change that to what's the date? Let me look. The 29th is probably when I'll be back because I got an MRI. I have several MRIs on the 28th. Anyhow, I'm going to take the week off. Thank you. Sorry. I love you.
I assume that's still Pete. So hi, Pete.
Hi, Pete. Hey, Jeff, where the heck are you right now?
Oh, I'm on my way to Columbus. I'm
There
doing
you
a
go.
little something for them, and
A little something. That sounds shady.
yeah,
I don't.
Full disclosure, guys. You know, I'm making good money over here. I am, but running expedited freight as a solo driver, boy, it's something else.
It's definitely a challenge and a learning.
Absolutely.
Okay, I got to tell you this. Like Jeff talked about earlier. His worst week yet. But here's the cool thing about it is even though the level of frustration, I know we're going a little bit long here. I know the frustration level gets a little high when we're learning things, right? But Jeff has a community of people.
Mm-hmm.
He has a very tight-knit team around him. And then he has the expanded universe around that and expanded universe around that, right? And so some may not hear out here, right? But he gets some pretty high levels of frustration, as do I. And Jeff and I bounce those off each other. And we're like, okay, but what did we learn from this? What can we do to make this situation better? And I think that's important. And I think that, coming over to community, a lot of you guys will see that benefit there because there are times when we all need to just kind of blow off the steam rather, and work through it and find that support group. And that's what we're here for. So you guys, with that being said, we're going to wrap this thing. Jeff, final thought.
Up yours, Bucky's.
Yeah. Bucky's. Hashtag F Bucky's. Sorry, that's not a thing. I apologize. Yes, it is. I was actually supposed to have a sign up here this week, and I didn't get it made because of my migraines. It was going to say a hashtag FOMAR. We won't get into that. It was just an inside thing that some people would have really enjoyed, and I apologize for not putting it up this week like I said I was going to. Anyhow, Craig's bot is signing off. There you go. I can park it. Quiet your mouth. No, you can't. They'll get you, Bear.
They'll get you.
Go in there with a commercial truck and then let us know how. You know what? Go in there and run a camera, bro, because that will be fun to watch. I'm just saying. Anyhow, You guys be safe. Look after each other. No one's out here looking after us but us. Quick update for folks in the private community. My normal Thursday video will not be out on the road because I'm not working this week. So I'm going to find a place. I'll probably go for a walk and shoot it that way. Anyhow, love you guys. Nobody's looking after us but us. Take care of each other. As Jeff would say, keep the rubber side down. And I think we're out. Jeff, we out. We're out. We're out, y'all. Be safe. We'll see you next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time, like every weekend. Thanks for being here. And shout out 3 years.